So, studies show that imposter syndrome disproportionately impacts women. 75% of female executives say that at some point in their life, they have experienced imposter syndrome. And I'm sure that's something you can relate to too. I certainly can. I have had elements throughout my entire career where I felt like I don't belong. And it's often at points in your career where everyone else is celebrating you and everyone else is thinking that you're smashing it, is when you feel most like an imposter. And this is something that I spoke about last week in the newsletter for MadFest, and it's something that I wanted to expand on today. I'm standing here at the Ideas Fest, talking to you about imposter syndrome today because I want people to understand that when you think you can't do something, when your body and your mind is telling you that you're not good enough or that you don't belong, it's because you really need to do that thing. You have to think about imposter syndrome a little bit like an alarm bell for growth. It is a notification telling you that there is something there that you're not quite good enough at yet, that you feel like you're scared to do, and that so you absolutely should do it in order to grow. So the first thing I want you to do, the first practical step to overcoming imposter syndrome, is to normalize these feelings. Imposter syndrome is not a syndrome. It is self-doubt. It is not a medical condition. It's not something that you go to a doctor to be diagnosed for. It is something that is human, it is normal, and is something that everyone experiences, particularly if you are a high performer. If you're someone who's trying to get ahead in your life, you're going to hit these plateaus of growth where you feel like to get to the next stage, you're unqualified and you don't belong there. The reality is, when you feel those feelings, when you feel like an imposter and when you feel like you're not, qualified to be doing something, that is where the growth happens. You don't get growth from doing things that you're qualified to do. You get growth from doing things you're unqualified to do. So when you have these imposter syndrome thoughts creeping into your head, just remember that A, it's normal. It means you're human. B, it keeps you competitive because it's something that's notifying you that there is a growth opportunity. And 3, you can't achieve growth by doing things that you're qualified to do. Number 2, there is a huge confidence gap between men and women. Studies show that women will only apply for a job if they believe that they meet 80 to 100% of the criteria for that role, whereas men are well up for giving it a crack because they think, what's the worst that could happen? Women need to understand that just because they're not 100% qualified for something doesn't mean that they shouldn't go for it. So here's some practical advice. Stop waiting to be 100% ready in order to do the thing that you think you want to do. Men are often promoted on potential, but that's because they ask for it. Women wait to be perfect before they go for the roles that they think they deserve and before they go for the pay rises that they think they deserve. So stop waiting to be invited and invite your damn self. So take the leap. You don't need to be 100% qualified yet. You will grow within the role that you want to be in. Take action over perfection. So many women believe that they have to be perfect in order to do something, to be an expert at something. The reality is, if you're waiting for perfection, you'll be waiting forever. There is a reason why so many men get promoted over women in roles, and that is because they ask for them. They don't believe that they have to be perfect in order to be qualified. You don't need to be perfect to be qualified, and by trying to strive for perfection and trying to strive to be the absolute expert in your space before you go for the opportunities that you deserve, you are allowing someone else to take those roles from you. Don't wait to be perfect. Don't wait to be overqualified. Do the things that you can grow into so that you can continue growing as an individual. Adopt a just fucking do it mentality. I certainly have. Commit to taking action. Progress over perfection is what leads to success. And ultimately, you can't think yourself into a better opportunity. You have to just fucking do it. Okay, the next thing I want you to do is to silence the inner critic. The way that you speak to yourself when you feel underqualified or you're not ready for something, would you speak that way to your friend? Would you speak that way to a colleague? Probably not. And what I need you to understand is you need to be your own best friend. Whenever you have these negative thoughts coming into your brain, whenever you have these imposter syndrome ideas, thinking that I'm not qualified, I shouldn't be here, I want you to think about this. What would your best friend say to you in this moment? What would you say to your best friend in this moment? And that is how I want you to talk to yourself. Because ultimately, no one is here to save you. No one's coming to cheer for you. You have to cheer for your own self. And if you're not cheering for yourself, someone else will take the roles that you deserve because they're cheering for themselves. You need to allow imposter syndrome to be something that keeps you competitive, not holds you back. And the last bit of advice I'm going to give you to overcome those pesky inner critic, negative thoughts, and fucking imposter syndrome that rules all of our lives at some point is to surround yourself with other amazing, confident, supportive women. When you surround yourself with people who hype you up, even when they're not in the best place in their lives, you thrive. And that thriving attitude is infectious, and it makes you want to kick that back onto other women and allow them to thrive. So if you can't back yourself yet, surround yourself with people who see the potential in you and want you to do well, and let them back you.